Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Bach.
I'm with Lisa Grove, a longtime organic intelligence client of mine. Lisa's path has been anything but ordinary. Once a NASA spacecraft systems engineer who worked on missions like the Galileo spacecraft to Jupiter, to Jupiter, and the Hubble Space Telescope, her own long recovery from trauma and complex illness eventually led her to become my organic intelligence client and to become a coach herself. Over the years, as Lisa has learned more and more about organic intelligence, she's used me as a sounding board for her writing, and I vetted it for accuracy. Lisa is very intelligent, thinks critically and logically, is a truth seeker, is a strong writer and verbal communicator, and has a way of explaining organic intelligence that people find very clear and illuminating. So I wanted to invite Lisa to a live stream free association conversation with me, where I'd ask her to explain organic intelligence to people, assuming they know nothing about it. And then we'll see where our free associations take us. So, Lisa, what is
Ah,
organic intelligence? Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
sounds good.
that's good. Yeah. What is organic intelligence? Yeah, the big question.
So
Yeah.
it's been an interesting evolution for me in trying to figure out exactly what it is and how I think about it. And and I love to explain things simply because I hate it when I'm explaining something and people's eyes glaze over.
Yes.
So I first of all, organic intelligence can mean our unconscious self. The longer I'm a client of organic intelligence, the more I understand that we really do have an unconscious self that's got just as much intelligence and control of what's going on for us as our conscious self. Everything that's automatic about us has an intelligence that's taking care of it. Our heart beating, our lungs breathing, our cuts healing, and even healing from trauma and healing from the upsetting interaction we had with our spouse in the morning or anything like that. And what organic intelligence coaching does is the founder learned to see the unconscious body's signals coming through our conscious self. Small physical movements, choices of conversation, emotions, things that just show up, and to interpret those. And he began to notice that sometimes it seemed like what was going on in the unconscious was stuck
Hmm.
or jerky. And he began to just give small, what he considered positive reinforcements, like, oh, how interesting. That the person wouldn't react to, but the unconscious self would see as safe and also reinforcing. And he began to notice that the people started changing, even though he wasn't doing therapy anymore. He was just responding to what he was thinking were unconscious signals from their unconscious part, their unconscious body. And so when I think of organic intelligence as the coaching modality, I think it's a way of seeing what our unconscious self is working on and noticing where it's getting hung up and helping it to get past the little hitches so
Interesting.
that instead of getting stuck on not being able to resolve the conflict with mom that happened 3 weeks ago that's still circling in her head, working with a coach, not even talking about that, somehow the unconscious signal is coming through that there's something stuck. And so the coach helps liberate the stuck point. And it just happened to be that that stuck point had to do with mom. And all of a sudden, the next time we interact with mom, we think, oh my goodness, what happened? I don't have that hang up that I had for 3 weeks. It's because our unconscious body is always trying to help us get past our unstuck points. And with organic intelligence, we start leaning in and going, oh, okay, so you're intelligent too. unconscious body part. Let me just help you. And then the part of us that we think of us, the conscious part, starts changing.
Thank you. So would you say that um, I think one major thing you're saying, and this is for you to vet my accuracy in presenting you, is that a central feature of organic intelligence is that it works with what you're saying is the unconscious self to resolve things that you, the client, may not even be aware of. And there will be benefits like, oh, the issues I had with my mom got resolved, but I didn't work on them consciously in session. We did other stuff. And
Right.
so is that accurate to what you?
Yes. Yeah. In session, like, you and I could have been talking about my dog that I had when I was a kid, and then we could have been talking about the person that I interacted with Starbucks yesterday. And the coach and the person never really know exactly what piece of the unconscious is going to get worked on and helped because it's part of the unconscious, but
Mm.
it might be showing up in any of those places.
So I feel the impulse to be a devil's advocate or like a hostile interviewer, like a someone who's skeptical of,
Have at it.
yeah, yeah. So I have I have a lot of hatred towards my mother. I balk, I don't, but I'm just this client.
Right, right, right.
I have a lot of hatred towards my mom. I want to re heal that or resolve it, talk about it. So I want to go to therapy or coaching and resolve it. I find now I discovered this organic intelligence thing, and Lisa is saying to come in and not talk about my mom or talk about other things, and that seems offensive to me or seems implausible or unattractive to me.
Yeah,
Yeah, could
yeah,
you?
I hear what you're saying, and actually, you can absolutely talk about your mom or what's on your mind, and what's coming up, what you're feeling anger over, or what you're feeling stress about. You can absolutely talk about that, but but talking about it doesn't mean that your unconscious system is actually going to work on that piece. It's like your unconscious half
Hmm,
has a an internal map of all of you, and it knows which part of you needs to be fixed and healed and tweaked in order to get to this part about the hatred of mom. And it's going to address the easiest part first. It's going to take things in order that the unconscious system sees as best for your overall functioning.
interesting. Okay, so if I this is my I feel the impulse to continue being the devil's advocate
Yeah,
or the
sure.
hostile client, hostile interviewer. Um, could you give this is going to be maybe demand on you, quite a demand, but could you
Okay.
give an example? So I want to, you're saying, okay, I want to come to you. I want to talk about my mom, and you're saying, Bach, you're free to do that, but that's your conscious self. That's the agenda of your conscious self, which may not, you're saying, be the agenda of my. Well, are you saying it's not the agenda of my unconscious self, or it is, but it has a different route?
I'm saying we don't know.
We don't know.
It might be.
Okay.
And one of the things that the organic intelligence coach does is to follow the inklings of the person's conscious self as they weave around talking about this and then talking about that. Because sometimes in that, some of those pieces are the unconscious self showing up and saying, oh, here's an opportunity. I'm going to give this person this memory right now and have them talk about that because that's right alongside what we're working on right now. Or it's just that we don't know.
One, thank you. One thought I have is don't some major players in the therapy field say they work on the unconscious self? I'm thinking of psychoanalytic, psychodynamic, Jungian. I mean, they're saying, well, we work with the unconscious self. So if you're saying organic intelligence works with the unconscious self, how is that distinctive? In what way is that distinct? Yeah,
It's actually very different.
yeah.
Those methods, I don't think those methods view the unconscious self as an equal partner, an intelligent partner that you can work with. I think they look at the unconscious self as, okay, we can open a window and we can look inside and we can take out this piece and we can work on this piece and then we can put it back in. And sometimes that helps. But organic intelligence is saying the unconscious self is working alongside the conscious self, just as much in control, just as intelligent, just different. And organic intelligence is watching for little signals that are unconscious to the conscious person, but that are coming from the unconscious half of the person
Mm.
and working with those signals. So it's working with, it's actually working more alongside the unconscious, as if to say the coach and the unconscious side of the person are taking a walk together. And the coach says to the unconscious side of the person, hey, do you need a little hand there? Seems like you're stuck. And the unconscious side could say, sure, I'll take that, or no, you seem scary, I'm not going there. And the conscious person could have absolutely no knowledge of this interchange.
Could you give some example, at least one, perhaps more than one example of working with the unconscious self? So I'm coming at you. My mom tells me I'm a failure. I should have become a director at my company. I'm only a middle manager, and why am I not more successful? And it's infuriating and hurtful, and I hate her. And so that's what I'm coming at you with. Let's say in session.
Right.
And
Right. So,
what would be the
so
example? Yeah, yeah.
a coach might take that subject matter of your mom and how you're feeling and all of that and think, okay, what other levels might there be to the same subject matter? Like, so, Bach, you have this issue with your mom. Do you see this issue with yourself in other levels of your life, like in the community? You might say, oh no, in the community I get along great with all the mother figures. I like them. It's easy. And it might be that the unconscious side of you can take that positive interchange around the mother figures in the community and use it in a resonant way, in a way that echoes. Like if you were playing an instrument and you played a chord that was pleasant, you use a pleasant part of the chord and it causes an unpleasant part of the chord also to vibrate. And the unpleasant part might be your issues with your mother. It's
Um,
almost like
yeah.
I started thinking about it kind of like homeopathy the other day, which is,
Oh, free associate, please. Yeah.
yeah, it's I mean, I don't know if you know or the listeners know, and I used to not know. I thought homeopathy was a quack science, but it's not. It's actually everything that's alive, every molecule, every atom. I mean, even things that aren't alive, they have their own vibration, their own unique vibration. And homeopathy takes the vibrations of the substance that it's wanting to work on and bottles them somehow. And you take drops. And so now your system has that vibration. And your system reads vibrations as well as physical substances. So it might be a vibration of aspirin, but you didn't take an aspirin, but your system says, oh, look, we have some vibration of aspirin. To your system, it's the same as aspirin. But to us conscious folk, it's like, well, that's a vibration I can't even see. What are you talking about?
As a metaphor, or maybe you mean it to some extent literally, but at least as a metaphor for the experience of the organic intelligence session, you're saying, like, I'm talking, we're having a conversation and
Right,
things are
right.
happening.
Like these women in the community, the mother figures
Yeah,
that are
yeah.
easy. I mean, it might be that to your system, to your internal unconscious system, there's some vibration in that
Mm.
that's common with the vibration that your mother problem has. And bringing up both vibrations together might just make the mother vibration be a little calmer.
That's interesting because so for example, let's say I answer you by saying, yeah, when I hang out with my friend at his house and I meet his mom, she's cool. I get along with her. And then, oh, she's such a good mother. I wish she would be my mother. And I could imagine a more mainstream therapist saying, "Oh, be wary of limerence. Don't worry, you're avoiding your reality of your own mother. You should go back to your hatred of your mother and talk about that. And
Right,
you're getting into some avoidant, uh,
right.
unhealthy stuff in being in this happy zone with thinking about your friend's mother, let's say, right?
Yeah.
And would you,
But
you're,
maybe it
yeah,
was
go ahead.
really your unconscious self going, hey, let's talk about your friend's mother. Because I know that's related, even though you don't.
Yeah, okay.
So then you think, oh, I just thought of my friend's mother, who I really get along well with. I'm going to talk about that. But maybe it came from your unconscious system.
Hmm. Could you carry through like what might happen with my talking about the friend's mother? Yeah.
Oh, let's see if I can think of an example. If you were talking about what, so give me a specific problem that you have with your mother, your fictitious mother,
She thinks I should be
giving
more
your fictitious self.
yeah, she thinks I should be more successful than I currently am.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your friend's mother, does she have any opinions about
By the way, just about so
success?
I'm stress testing Lisa. So you just this is we're okay. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so when
You,
you would free associate about your friend's mother,
no.
would you happen to say anything about her opinion of your success or lack of success?
Oh, she always greets me with a smile. She makes me chocolate chip cookies. She congratulates me for being a manager. So my mom says, "Why are you only the lowest possible level manager? You should be C-suite by now." And the friend's mother says, "Wow, you're a manager. That's awesome."
So that right there might be one of those connections that your unconscious self finds similar in the vibration sense. Your friend's mother is saying, "Wow, you're a manager. That's so great. I love it."
Hmm.
And the fact that you were already talking about your mother before and had brought up the fact that she thinks you should be a higher level manager by now, has that part of your system active. And now we have this other part of your system active that's got managers good.
Mm.
And it comes over here and it's like maybe it smooths out the rough edges of manager bad. And all of a sudden you're like, yeah, my mom just doesn't get it. Because the
Yeah.
edge got smoothed because of that connection. And you wouldn't even see that connection,
Yeah. Okay.
but it might suddenly or in the week to come while your system is doing its thing with whatever got released in the session, you might go, oh man, yeah, my mom, she wants me to be C-suite, but it's just not bothering me so much anymore. I don't know why.
That's interesting. I want to now ask for, I'll get personal with you and you can share it to your level of
Sure.
comfort, but personal
Okay.
questions about, since you have a lot of experience being an organic intelligence client,
Mm-hmm.
a- and whatever you're comfortable sharing, so no
Yeah.
pressure, but examples that you come up for you of how your unconscious self came up and how it was worked with in a way that led to, resolution of concerns of the conscious self. Yeah.
Right. I was just remembering an instant of that recently. It was several months back when I was taking another level of the organic intelligence coach training. You know, you can always become a better coach with more training and more experience. And we had just learned about how a family system and a community system might be similar to the unconscious self because they're both groups and because the interactions within groups have patterns. It wouldn't be the same patterns, but they're both groups. So we had been encouraged to think about our own family interactions and patterns. And I thought,
Mm.
of some patterns, and somehow that brought me to, no, then in the class we went to practice coaching. So my practice coach, what was at the top of my mind for some reason showed up the boss that I had, who from the first day was a trauma trigger, but I didn't even know what that meant yet. And he wasn't physically abusive or anything like that. He was just super nice and didn't have very good emotional boundaries. And I was relating the experience of that to my practice coach, and how I ended up quitting that job and feeling like a failure because I was raised with the truth, which was a lie, that if you worked hard enough and tried hard enough, you could always succeed. I stuck with that job for more than a year and ended up with PTSD and ended up quitting, which I felt like was a failure. But in that practice session, which was like 5 months ago, the coach reflected back to me that maybe that was a really smart and intelligent decision that I made to quit. And that
Mm.
was the first time I'd ever realized, oh yeah, that really was a smart decision. I probably saved myself from even worse PTSD.
Something you
But
con. Go ahead.
I never saw it as positive before. So that shift in the coach's comment, I mean, they weren't trying to fix my impression. They just made a comment what came to mind. And that kind of shifted all sorts of things within my unconscious because it was related to all these other things and rippled out. And I think I was writing you an email about it just to say, hey, this happened. And when I was writing the email, I realized from our own sessions that my system was doing something, my unconscious system. And I thought, all right, I'm stopping the email. And I just sat down and was quiet for
Mm.
like 15 minutes while I felt something happening within my chest, within my mind. And I wasn't trying to control it, I was just observing.
Yeah.
And when it was done, then I finished the email to you.
Yeah. So while you were writing the email, stuff was coming up, and then because of the training and all you noticed that okay, this is my
I
unconscious self.
recognized that my unconscious system was actively shifting things around.
Right. So you allowed space for that to
Right,
happen,
right.
and that's how the healing happens.
Yeah. I didn't go, oh, that's, yeah, forget it. I don't want to pay attention to that. I'm writing my email. I just said, oh, all right, I'm going to stop the email.
Oh, right. Okay. So many people, it would be very common for people to think, okay, I'm writing an email, something is coming up internally. That's not relevant because what's relevant right now is I'm writing an email.
Right.
So it's very subtle, but internally, I'm just going to not allow that to arise, or I'm just going to will it down and just get the email out. And I may have missed the opportunity for the unconscious self to reorganize. Is that?
Yeah, except,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
I think that's true, but I also think it may not, the opposite may not be true. It may not be true that everything that comes up is the unconscious system trying to reorganize in a more healthy way.
I would
Because
love examples. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of things that come up, I just like push them aside and go, continue writing. And maybe it was the fact that what was coming up while I was writing that email to you about that same subject felt somehow different. I'm not sure
Mm.
how I decided, oh, this is something that has to do with that, and I need to like just sit and let it happen. It was very different than the normal. Maybe I felt it in more of my body or something. I don't even remember. But I remember that process of learning what it felt like when my unconscious system was integrating things, happening little by little as we did coaching together.
Mm.
because I began to recognize, oh, if I pay attention to that or I pay attention to that, I've always been super introspective, and 20 years of therapy helped me become even more so.
Wow.
But organic intelligence has given me more of a view of, oh, let's not pull up the problem and look at it and look at all the sides of it. Let's just like let it float and see what shimmers rather than see what's the worst part. Let's go for the worst part. Let's see what's the part that looks fun. Oh, well, let's look at that, and that seems to lead to more healing and spontaneous unconscious integration. I think because I'm not taking it out and looking at it. I'm just going, oh, that's cool. Let's watch it.
Could you explain more about what you said? I think you said one thing that's helping you heal is that when you have something arising in the unconscious self, you're not taking it out and looking at it. You're thinking instead, oh, cool, look at that. Could you explain that difference? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think it's a similar difference to what I was describing earlier with the traditional therapy approach. Oh, let's open a window and look inside, and oh, look, that bit there looks particularly bad. Let's take it out
Hmm.
and let's futz around with it. And I'm not saying that all those things don't work. They help a lot. But let's use techniques. Let's use CBT or let's use EMDR or whatever, and then we'll put it back, and the subconscious system integrates it, but not in the order that the subconscious system was wanting to integrate things. It's like,
Oh, so I
yeah,
think you're saying something like stuff comes up from the unconscious self. Other approaches, such as CBT and EMDR, are two you've named, and alluded also to earlier to psychodynamic approaches. Their approach is to, oh, I see, like somehow, in some sense, take isolate that stuff that's coming up, take it out, do stuff with it, and the stuff you do depends on your modality, I guess, and then
right,
and then you slot it back in.
right. It's like
Um,
I would go to a therapy session with, oh, I'm just having so much trouble with this worst thing of the week. I'm going to bring that to therapy and we're going to work on it.
yeah.
I've already taken it out.
And as opposed to you're saying inorganic intelligence, it's the experience is more the something comes up in the unconscious self, and the organism, the interior itself, knows what to do with it and how to process it.
Right, and when I notice something coming up now, I've become so much more confident that my unconscious side knows what it's doing that I just watch it. And if I notice something easy or interesting about it, I might write things down, but I'm not
Hmm.
consciously working on it because I'm confident that the unconscious has got it. And that if I start consciously intervening, I don't have any idea what my unconscious has, its own intelligence and its agenda. If I start intervening, I might tweak something that gives it twice as much work and me less healing.
I think I'm appreciating more and more what and understanding more and more what you meant earlier in this free association conversation when you said that when you described inorganic intelligence, the conscious self is more of a companion and equal partner with the unconscious self, contrasted against the job of the conscious self is to do a lot of excavation and top down work, say,
Right.
with the
And guiding and saying, okay, now we need to exercise this piece and now we need to practice those beliefs and with organic and help the unconscious system do what it's doing already and the beliefs just change.
Yeah, I'm glad we got a few examples in. I think more maybe in the future, more examples better because we are talking at a very abstract level of organic intelligence, conscious self and unconscious self are companions, they work together, and then contrasted against the view that you ascribe to much of the mainstream, which is conscious self is looking down at and doing stuff top down Well, I introduced top down,
Like
but I
a
think it's reflective.
surgeon,
Yeah, surgeon. Yeah, as opposed to a companion.
right?
Okay, interesting. We're on our time, and I feel like we opened up a lot of questions as usual. Well, in
We
my
opened
live
up a
streams
can of worms.
same with my live streams with Ren, we start stuff and then it's over already, and then, but I wanted to thank Lisa for A Rocket Scientist Explains Organic Intelligence. Maybe we'll do this again. I know you have a wide range of knowledge and expertise to share. Links to learn more about Lisa and her offerings will be in the description. Anything you want to share with us? Any final comments for anyone here?
I think the thing that I love to say now that I've finally learned it is that our unconscious systems are much more than just our unconscious thoughts. They're, if we can figure out how to make them an equal partner, everything gets so much easier.
Hmm. If we can find a way to make our conscious self and our unconscious self equal
Yeah,
partners, I'm just
right,
reflecting, but everything
right,
gets so much easier.
right. And organic intelligence is one method of coaching that treats the unconscious side of us as an equal partner.
As opposed to the thing that's to be analyzed, fixed, and excavated and so forth. And
Right,
yeah.
right. It's like that's a conscious effort to fix something that's in the unconscious. And if we say the unconscious knows what it's doing, and if we just help it a little, maybe it would just fix all of those things by itself. I'm not saying that one or the other is better, but I think we lean way more towards our conscious is the only thing we've got.
You mean other approaches as
Yeah. Well,
okay.
as a human species
Hmm.
or in Western tradition,
Interesting.
yeah, more for another
More,
time.
yeah, more, yeah. Okay. Um, thank you, Lisa.
You're very welcome.